budget guitar stuff. My friend and bandmate Jono asked me to build a new pedal board for him because he got some new equipment, he got rid of some old equipment. And usually what I do is I start out with, I just get a piece of wood. It's nothing fancy because he doesn't have a lot of effects, so he doesn't need to get a store-bought one or something. And now he's using a wah-wah pedal, which is interesting because it's so big. And so if you're going to attach it to something, it's a pretty big unit as compared to like your usual MXR size, or now everybody's using mini effects, which are much smaller. So it's kind of funny to put these things together. When you do this, you have to think about, like, you can't put this right here because you can't get your foot next to this, so you got to space it out a little bit. And he's using this one. This is the world's best effect. Everybody should have one. Oh, actually nobody should have one. I should have one because it's just the golden tone right here. And so this is like it's like the gain stage of an Echoplex, and this is the Xotic EP-booster, and it's just amazing. It just makes your tone amazing. We just leave it on all the time. And then he's got a little booster for when he plays leads. This is a really nice, clean little unit. And Old Faithful, the Chromatic Tuner. And we just don't like the way tuners look on the headstock of your guitar. Looks dumb. But they are convenient, so I understand if you use them, but we don't want to use them. Anyway, so I was trying to come up with a cool layout for this, and I was thinking about something like this. And having it laid out. I know it's upside down for you guys on the screen. Let me just put this like this then. So this is like, seems like a pretty good layout, you know, and then that's not too big of a board. But this guy is you only need to use it once in a while. And this guy you never turn off. So you don't really have to have them accessible. So what I was thinking to make this thing even smaller was possibly like turning this way and sneaking it a lot closer to the wah pedal, and then turning this one sideways too, because you leave it on all the time, so it can just kind of sit here. And then this guy can go down here because this is the only one he's going to be turning on and off regularly. So that'll be closer to his feet, and that's the only one he really needs to turn on and off. And then this one is here. And now I've just reduced the size of the board by, I don't know, 20%. So that's what I was thinking. And I was like looking at it, it's like, you know, this is pretty compact, and then it'll just fit into your gig bag. But then I remembered I've got these old Makita drill boxes that I dug out, and as you can see, they've been sitting on the shelf a long time. And still got some stuff in it, and so it's pretty cool. You know, this would make a great like portable. It's got a nice handle, it's heavy duty, so the stuff on it, and Jono could probably fit like all of his gear inside of there. You know, he only needs a couple of cables and not much else. You know, a guitar strap and some picks and, you know, the usual stuff. And it would fit in here. The only problem with this is, well, first thing I had to check out was, is this big enough? And check this out. If this goes in here like that, it's a little tight. We'll have to see if we can make it. This one goes like this, and this one goes like that. It would be a perfect case. The only problem is, well, first we have to see if everything's gonna fit. But the only real problem is all of these things, these plastic things in here, dividers, and it's all molded together. So I don't know how I'm gonna take care of that, but I'm gonna use the Dremel tool. How about that? Voila. So a little cleanup in there is going to be really nice, but let's see if everything's going to fit, because that's the crucial part. I can cheat it over a little bit more on this side. I might have to put this one this way. Let's see if that works. Well, frankly, it's just a hair too small, but I think I'm gonna go ahead with it anyway, just because it's so freaking cool. And as you can see, everything will fit in there. And then you just got a little carrying box, and that could be your whole gig bag right there. So, if it doesn't work, I can always make a different one, right? I'm gonna clean up the plastic on the inside, and then I'm gonna move to making a piece of wood that fits in there perfectly. So, now we gotta make a piece of wood that fits perfectly in here. It would be great if I just had a little bit more space on this side. Like even a 1/4 inch more would be great, but we'll try and make it work, you know? See what happens. I should probably hit that with a sander or something too. Get rid of this schmutz in the bottom. I have to say, this plastic is very nice. It didn't really like make any fumes or gases while I was doing it. I probably should have been wearing a mask, but I wasn't, because I'm not going to live forever. Now on to measuring and cutting a piece of wood that fits in. Okay, let's see if this fits. There's a little piece in there I need to clean up a little bit. I think this is going to be just, look at that. I don't even need to trim that little piece. It might actually be helpful to have it so it doesn't wiggle around. So how about that? Fits in snugly on the bottom, doesn't move around. Now let's see how if this piece of wood is big enough for all the effects. Okay, this is great. It fits. The only thing I'm really worried about is if he goes to touch this, that he's going to hit the EP booster, because the booster is sticking up a little bit high. So I have a couple of different things I could do. One thing is there's feet on the bottom of this. I could take the feet off and lower it down about, 1/4 inch. That might help a little bit. I can cheat this up a little bit. But I think what I'm going to do right now is mark it out and drill it and put it together. I put this little block here at the bottom because I found that if you put something like this, there isn't really a good place to put a cable tie around here. So if I just put a block at the bottom and then I put a cable tie across the top, that should hold it in place just fine. This is kind of heavy, so I'm definitely going to use a heavy duty cable tie for the top. But I don't really want to drill holes in his new wah-wah pedal. So I'm going to let this rest, and then the next thing I'm going to do is paint it, and tomorrow when I come back I'm going to put it together. So last night I had a big idea about the problem, and when I say big, I mean big idea. I had this giant idea about how to solve the problem about this thing being taller than this and clicking it. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm definitely going to take off the feet, but the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put something, I'll cut another piece of plywood and put it underneath this guy to pick it up a little bit, and that should solve the problem. The combination of those two will compensate for the height. So I'm just going to cut a little piece of plywood and glue that down, and then I'm going to paint it after the glue dries. Into the home stretch, here's the paddleboard. I painted it black. I didn't do a great job, but just a little bit of black to make it disappear on stage. And you can see I've got the little booster chair for the tuner to sit on. Pick it up a little bit. I'm gonna take off the feet from here, but I'm gonna save them because they're part of the original equipment here. And of course, I'm going to have to put the connector cables and the power lines in too. But I'm all going to do all that in fast motion right now, and we'll be done in a jiff with this. Also, I have a collection of cable ties to put this all together. Break, tell you what's going on here. So this board is very, very tight, and these cables are just a little bit short. I need to find some cables that are slightly longer and slightly more flexible so I can make the turn here, because it's just not quite, I don't have enough to get it down here where I drilled the holes. It needs to go, like, I just need another inch of that. So, you know, these things are all put together. Also, the power cables here are hitting up against, so that shouldn't be a problem, but it is. Anyway, before I put this together anymore, I've got to get some longer cables. So that's it for today. Here's the completed setup in the heated drill case box. And open it up. See how nicely the whole thing fits in here. And I've got room for the power cord at the bottom. It's pretty tight. There isn't much room for the cables like I'd hoped, but as you can see, it all fits very nicely into the case, and it won't wiggle around. It's in there pretty solidly, and it's easy to take out. So here it is, all wired up, and let's give it a go. Power booster, the EP, the tuner. And I think, let's see. Yeah, so you can turn everything on and off without touching other stuff. So I'm going to say this is a success. We'll see how long it lasts.